Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the platform. It's your brother Bolo VNR. And I would love to invite you, ladies and gentlemen, to go ahead and subscribe to all of my platforms. Get me up to 5,000 subs on Bolo Bvrclips. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Bolo VNR, we need to get to 5,000 subs over there as well. Damn, we've been at 1,000 something for a while now. It's growing pretty slow. I would love for you guys to go pump your subscriptions over by Bolo VNR. Thank you very much. And also Bolo TBV, we need to get to 1,000 subs over there. So go ahead and sub up. Now, the JLP Pitbull ran out, ladies and gentlemen. The JLP Pitbull ran out. Government defense the appointment process amid opposition's uproar. When have you ever heard this government admit to any wrongdoing or any mistakes that they have made? When have you ever heard them say, you know what, we probably could have done it in a cleaner fashion? I see what you're saying. When have you ever heard this government have any good reasoning? Huh? When? Just tell me when. In the last 2 years, with all the exposure that has happened. Are we surprised? I don't think we should be. However, we have to highlight the nonsense. And we have to talk about it. Let's listen to the nonsense from Marlon Margon. Huh? Let's listen to the nonsense of Marlon Margon, ladies and gentlemen. And I have to play this to remind you of what we're about to witness. What we ordered from Sheen versus what we got. Look at this. Huh? We ordered Ibrahim Shari and we got Marlon Margon. Sad.
Embarrassing. We need some milk.
Anyway, let's listen to this.
We know the PNP's desperation and threat of action across the island.
You see, these guys are the propaganda machine. PNP threat of action across the island. PNP didn't threaten any action across the island. The way he phrased that, you know?
If Dennis Chong's appointment as Chief Technical Director at the FID is not rescinded. However, the PNP's attempt to bully and
a pit bull talking about PNP bullying. PNP has never bullied anything. PNP has stood on democracy, and PNP has been on the right side of democracy, unlike the Jamaica Labour Party. Constitutional reform, the constitution reform. You guys breaking the constitution several times, going to the court and losing several times. The bullying of trying to put in the needs, the bullying of trying to reform the constitution the way you want it and going against the constitution itself because there's a reform process in the constitution, trying to take out impeachment. Huh?
manipulate systems established to ensure
Manipulate systems? Who manipulate system like the Jamaica Labour Party? Remember the gerrymandering of Portmore? What is going on? Why they don't change this pitbull?
We know the PNP's desperation and threat of action across the island if Dennis Chong's appointment as Chief Technical Director at the FID is not rescinded. However, the PNP's attempt to bully and manipulate systems established to ensure a fair recruitment process will not
You know, it's funny to me.
be allowed to succeed. Those attempts will not prevail.
It's funny to me how what he just said is speaking to what the JLP did. This last part right here.
And manipulate systems. We know the PNP's desperation and threat of action across the island if Dennis Chong's appointment as Chief Technical rescinded. However, the PNP's attempt to bully and manipulate systems established.
So the JLP has bullied and manipulated the system to have Delroy Chong be appointed in favor for the Prime Minister investigation at the FID. So he's trying to spin what the JLP did on the PNP. Brethren, you're not that smart. Alright? You're not that smart. We see right through that. And I hope the people do as well. Because what he's saying there is really what the JLP did. They manipulated the process in their favor. And they bullied it. And Andrew Honest is putting his people in place to walk scot-free of potential crimes against this wonderful country and the people of Jamaica.
While the governing Jamaica Labour Party holds no brief for Mr. Dennis Chung, the PNP should respect Mr. Chung's record, which includes service at the Bank of Jamaica, the National Solid Waste Management Authority, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, and several other financial institutions, including JMMB and the Daring, Bunting and Golding DBNG of the past, and of course, Mr. Chung's recent stint as General Secretary of Jamaica Football Federation is to be noted. He has distinguished himself as a Jamaican and a competent professional in both the public service and the private sector.
That has nothing to do with this specific job. There are certain jobs that if you don't have a certain level of qualification, it doesn't matter how much experience you have, you are not qualified for that job. And leading an investigation where potential fraud and robbery and stuff like that, financial fraud and robbery and stuff like that, nepotism and cronyism might exist. You're talking about money laundering possibly. You're talking about transnational organized crime possibly, right? Leading an investigation like that, you need somebody that has some type of legislative background, somebody that has some type of crime fighting background, somebody that has some type of background where financial crimes is concerned. This man has none of that. As a matter of fact, those arguments of his qualification is null and void. One of the main things that we have to make sure we stay on here is that the man has clearly a bias towards Andrew Honest. He's in favor of Andrew Honest. He's coming into an investigation that he spoke up against the Integrity Commission. So why would he take the recommendation of the Integrity Commission to investigate Andrew Honest? And even if he did take the recommendation, he has stated that Andrew Honest, there's no problem with his 28 bank account. He has stated that there's no problem with moving money from a charity to an ex-business. He has no problem with it. So the investigation, the credibility of an investigation being led by Dennis Chung is null and void. There's no credibility. Marlon. So it doesn't matter what spin you put on it and sounding how you sound. It's all what word salad. Everything, nothing that you say has any substance regarding Dennis Chung. You cannot defend this. And the JLP cannot defend it either. This is blatant corruption. His appointment is blatant corruption. Blatant. Not even trying to hide corruption, but blatant corruption. Alright? Let's continue.
This suggestion about not being qualified as well is disingenuous because it's a matter of public record.
Disingenuous? The man is not qualified, period. Period.
That the post of FID, Chief Technical Director, is not one that is investigative in nature but more managerial. The opposition's posture is quite hip.
Brother, you chat shit. You understand? You have to, if for you to be able to manage an investigation, you have to have some type of investigative experience. Right? You're the one that is managing it. You're supposed to be sharper than the people on your team. You're supposed to see things where they don't see it. You cannot be less qualified than the person that you're managing in terms of an investigation. What can go so? The people within that space is going to be more qualified than you. You're supposed to be the sharpest tool in the box, brother. So your statement is hypocritical and misleading and disingenuous, not the PNPs.
Hypocritical as well, because these are the same people who,
So
not too
now
long
we're
ago,
doing.
defended the appointment of Dr. Dayton Campbell's friend of 20 years.
No, you see, the hypocritical part of it is that you guys had a problem with the appointment of Dr. Dayton Campbell's friend of 20 years. But you guys don't have a problem with this. You are projecting your hypocrisy. You, nationwide, Marlon, Margon, and all of the JLP apologists. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up. Right? That's what you're doing. You guys are hypocrites. Because Dr. Dayton Campbell is not being investigated. This is not the same situation. This is apples and oranges. But it clearly shows your hypocrisy with your opposition to Dr. Dayton Campbell, friend of 20 years, being appointed as not a manager of the IC, you know. Not the director of the IC, you know. He's not holding any major position in the Integrity Commission. It is not comparable to the position that Dennis Chung is holding. Dennis Chung is going to manage the investigation against the Prime Minister, while the office of the Prime Minister holds the FID in his office. Now, Dennis Chung is a biased individual towards the Prime Minister in terms of the investigation itself. This is a clear conflict of interest. And the fact that you guys come here to try and be a spin doctor for this tells me that your moral compass, you are absolute sellout. You are unpatriotic. You guys are germs. You understand? Real talk. I'm sick of this. I am sick of these people just eroding common sense, trying to erode truth. You're a germs, man. You understand? Real germs. You don't need to come off of Jamaica, man. You're tearing down the country, man. This is the simple logic. The man has said enough for him to be disqualified from even attempting to take this post. Talking about Dr. Dayton Campbell's friend. Huh? Unbelievable, Andrea. Didn't Paula Lulin attend the wedding too? That's our next conversation. I don't know about that. Dior says he has no right being there, but country is playing his cards to avoid prison. I tell you.
An individual who Campbell attended upon his wedding.
And I've got talk. Short neck ad. I didn't even expect the better.
In the groom's party, appointed as acting director of corruption prosecution. The PNP defended that appointment.
Acting director, not managing director. Acting director, meaning that he might not keep the post. Somebody else might be appointed. He's just acting. You see the difference? You see the detail in that?
Convenient posturing, and there's a word for it. Hypocritical. And
yo, I've never seen such hypocrisy and thus they are standing looking in the mirror, you know, cursing themselves out, you know, projected, you know. As always, say no one in Holders administration is qualified for their job. A barber, a technician. Okay. And it angers me for true, man. It angers me for true, man. These are the people. Jamaica, do not make this mistake again. This coming election, make sure say you come out and reject the the JLP. Only need to come out and me I talk about the level of rejection needs to be echoed so them know what time it is moving forward. We don't want to have nothing to do with this party ever again. This party remind me of the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. When him asks, is there any among them? Find 10 among them that is righteous. And him go and him can't find the amount and him say, yo, alright, please. And him say, alright, you must can't find 5. Can't find 5. Please, find one. Can't find one. There is nobody in the Jamaica Labour Party that I trust. Not even one of them. No integrity whatsoever. None. You hear what I say? None. N-O, nada, nothing. My God. People, wanna make me know what you think about that in the comment section. Alright? Like and share the video. Comment respectfully or you will be blocked. Not even one lasso. Not even one. That's why this Sodom and Gomorrah government have to go down. And I gotta go do it. I'm telling you. Obia, everything them running in pan them, have them jump on. Everything where God is against. No sex offender list come out though. Big up yourself, Lloyd. We can't wait to look more when Dr. does bust out the rest of information about the drill. Mighty God. Yes, sir.